Hey, No Nothings podcast number 70.
It is number 70?
Yep.
Pretty excited about that. Only 30 away from 100. We'll be there pretty soon, hopefully.
Yeah, I keep saying that I want to get a studio or a place that we can just set this up and do it and really push this thing. But I can't do that here in the corner of my living room. If we had a studio too,
we could get more guests.
Yeah. We can have it set up.
You could have the green screens constantly. You wouldn't have to be changing everything around every time we want a podcast. You also have to pay for a studio, right? Like this is what we were talking about pre-podcast. The whole world's just constantly extracting, needing more money than it is possible to.
Let's get into that in a second.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's segue into that in a second. But I want to say this. Do I have these on? I'm like choking myself. What's going on with this? Okay. Let's do it like that. Anyway, okay. I found. Hey, do you know where? Remember in Shudrint, you go south of Shudrint, and on the corner there was a place. There was a store there.
A little like brown building.
Yes.
Used to be a little hamburger stand.
Yeah, it has a house in it, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and a storefront, and then behind it.
Oh wait, I may be thinking of a different place.
I forget what it was called. I'm so bad with the camera work right now.
You're two, I'm one. So
yeah,
there's two little houses there. There's one.
They used to sell liquor there. They used to sell liquor there.
About Wilmart.
Wilmart, on the corner.
Oh, you're talking about Wilmart, yeah.
Wilmart, and then it had behind that. There's like a huge building that has multiple like storefronts, maybe.
Yeah.
It's for sale. I would have to sell this house and move into that brown building with the little storefront in it. But it has it's so awful and nasty.
I know.
But it's the perfect place, and I could fix, like, it has enough room in those buildings out back that I could have the music studio in there.
A music studio.
I could have podcast studio. Just have a whole production studio going on.
Start our record label out of there.
Start our record label
and our podcast studio
and our movie. And I want to do movies or shorts. I want to shoot stuff.
We should get into skits anyway. We should be writing some skits.
We should be writing skits. I was thinking about that the other day. And
in fact, when we get done with this, let's just do a skit.
Do one.
Let's come up with a skit.
Yeah,
that's what we're gonna do, folks. Today,
yeah.
Not for the No Nothings podcast. Separate from that.
Separate.
Let's see if we can. It probably won't be great your first one, right? But you gotta. You see some of these people, man. They develop these great characters. Some people are really good at it. Some people are terrible at it. But
it could be anything. We could do a skit that a podcast, like, make it satirical. Like,
yeah,
this could be a skit. You just have to write it. Or you could have a skit where you just walk in and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? And you're doing something weird, and then you just, like, it could be anything.
I like this being authentic, but I wouldn't mind having this be authentic and do skits for I enjoy the creative piece of that. Man, there's some content creators now that are better than
yeah.
There's some that are terrible, but man, there's some people that really have developed some good characters that have made themselves very successful to their credit. Kyle Gordon, that emo song he wrote, that one I sent you.
Yeah.
I'm like a black dog now. He's making fun of, so he's taking the piss, but he's also it's really well done, right? It's also funny, and have you seen? He does that for he does that for every genre. Have you seen that? He does the 1950s, and he just makes a song in a 1950s rockabilly style, and he talks about dating young teenagers and how how he's 33 and they're 12 and it's the love of his life, and he just really goes hard. And then he's got an Irish drinking song that he does, just totally taking the piss out of the Irish. Then he's got the country and western song, and it's he shot a man.
What's his name?
Kyle Gordon. He says
Gordon.
His country song, he talks about he shot a man. Shot a man because they were trying to take lead out of the sewage. It's just ridiculous, right? But he makes it into a song.
I gotta tell you,
he's really creative and funny.
He sounds hilarious. I did that one that you
saw the emo one.
Oh,
he's got 30 different songs like that of every different style. He tours off of it, world tours.
I thought about writing some kids songs because we in here with Maverick listen to these songs just on there's one called Excavator. It talks about being, it's like, I'm an excavator. And like the kids like loving it. And it's like, hey, dirt, see you later.
Well, you know that, remember the...
And it explains what an excavator is. And the kids like singing along in it. And I lay down in bed. Yeah.
Them.
And I lay down in bed at night. I'm an excavator. And I'm like, this is my favorite song. I can't stop thinking about it.
It's like, what was that? Remember that comic that used to do that bit about the Wiggles? Have you ever seen that? You remember the Wiggles? I mean, obviously...
I kind of remember a comic making fun of the Wiggles.
Our kids are probably the age that would have, mine and your children 25 years ago would have watched the Wiggles as a little kid. But he was the comic is doing this whole bit about the Wiggles, and he's like, you can't get the shit out of your head. I'd never heard the song, but he's like, the whole song goes, fruit salad, yummy, yummy, fruit salad, yummy, yummy, fruit salad, it's yummy, yummy. He's like, bro, my kids will lose their fucking minds over this shit. They're like, fruit salad, fruit salad. He's like, it's twice. He's like, it's 10.
Let me get some fruit salad.
Yeah, he's like, it's 10 times the impact of any like Metallica song, any like AC/DC song. He's like, you've never seen the fanaticism of these children. Fruit salad. So he goes, so I take the bit's great. I forgot. I wish I could.
That's what I thought about doing. So I go on Chat GPT and I'm like, write me a kid's song about a rhinoceros and make it funny. And it just popped me up a whole kid's song. And I was like, put some guitar chords to that. And I played it and sang it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. Because I just use Chat GPT to do it.
Yeah. And the kids, the 1-year-old doesn't care.
So then you like say like rhinoceros, call it rhinoceros song. So then when you go like, hey, Alexa, play the rhinoceros song.
This would just be clearly a capitalistic approach to music. Like,
yeah, I just want the money.
Integrity be damned.
Yeah, integrity be damned. I'm not even going to use any brain process.
We're not even pretending that we would want.
I have a recording equipment. I know how to play guitar, piano, and bass. I'll just let ChatGPT write the songs, and then I'll record them and play them.
Well, let me give you.
And ChatGPT's not going to get any money from it.
So I'll give you another.
I pay for ChatGPT.
I'll give you another guy. You remember the guy that made the long time ago? He did the what is his name? When he was talking about the how he's the baddest rapper alive, and he's like a 14-year-old, and he's got his Froggy Fresh. You remember Froggy Fresh?
Yes.
You remember? You know who I'm talking about?
Sorry, I'm having to work a little.
That's fine. No, that's cool. It's part of the show. But you remember Froggy Fresh that did the?
Not really.
You would if I get. I got the song. I am the baddest of the bad. It was like totally satirical. He was a little like 100-pound.
Oh, the white guy with his friend. It's like because he got dunked on.
Yeah, that one. Okay, so he still makes. So
he's great at it.
So he was making.
I just looked him up.
Okay, perfect.
Go ahead.
So he was making a post the other day. He's like, so he does all these stupid songs he does all these silly songs that are huge, like. Cause your boyfriend's a bitch, he ain't shit. He can suck on his dick. Cause your boyfriend's a bitch, right? He's like, what he does now to make money.
He's kind of gotten good at production.
Oh, he's really good at it. It's just that's what he's trying to. That's kind of the point of what he's saying. What he does now to make money is say, hey, you send me something you want me to write a song about. Pay me like $1,000, right? So somebody will say, oh, my fucking coworker at work never brings his own lunch. Would you write a song about Billy? And he'd be like, cause Billy's a broke fuck, never brings lunch worth of shit in his truck. Fuck Billy's ass. But he writes it, produces it, and he's like, so he gets like 1,000, and he's got so many of these lined up that he can't even. He's like, I can't take any more requests for the next 9 months.
Oh my god!
He says like 9 months at like $1,000 a piece. Where he writes these songs. And
how many does he say? How many he can knock out in a day?
He said he knock out like 3 or 4 a day.
Oh my god!
3 or 4 a day. But then he started writing. He's like, well, I want to do my serious music because I'm actually a musician, right?
He's actually
he's a musician. He's a talented producer. All this. So he puts out this series, which is great.
Because he's gotten good.
Like, oh yeah, great. He was always good. Actually,
it's been how many years?
15 since Froggy Fresh.
15 years of programming a drum machine. You get badass at it.
Well, then he's like, I write this song. He's
music.
like, I wrote this song and I like poured my fucking heart out. He's like, and it's like the hardest thing I've ever done. He's like, these little ditties and shit. He's like, I wrote them bitches up in like 10 minutes and I go get the guitar guitar and the keyboard and I'm done in an hour. He said, then I sit down for 5 months and I want to make like this masterpiece, and I make it, and all you motherfuckers come on here and troll me like, no, we need more dick songs. And he's like, fuck all. He's like, I want to do. That's what I told. So I like commented on his posts. I was like, dude, I said, you know what I would do? I said, you should just do the bullshit for the money. That's funny. That people love, and you're just gonna have to write the cool shit, the stuff with integrity for yourself. No one's gonna buy it.
Yeah.
But like, you're gonna have to accept that.
Because it's like
Nobody will take him serious.
Yeah,
right?
nobody will take it seriously.
So when he does a serious piece, like it's a big dramatic musical piece with great songs, a soaring ballad or whatever. It was a great song they wrote. I listened to it. I was like, fuck, this is good.
Well, if you never heard any of his other stuff, you might get that.
You would be like, oh, this is
But
good.
if you're a huge fan of his, you're constantly waiting for he's doing something serious, but every time there's a new chorus, you're waiting for him to be like, "And my dick small," you know, like say something funny.
Because
and you're just constantly waiting for that, and it never happens. You're like, "Well, this song sucks."
Because the dude was almost in like tears in this video, talking about like as you can tell, he's come to like an artistic crossroad, right?
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
I'm glad people think I'm funny. I'm glad people want to pay for my songs. He's like, but then when I really do the stuff that I want to do, everyone shits on it. Like, and you don't understand. Like,
well, know your lane. Then.
Yeah. He's like, this is good. I don't want that to be my lane. He's like, I'm fine with it being a part of my journey, right? But like,
why can't he name it? Does he go under a different? He's going to have to go over under a different name.
Yeah, but he's so talented. If he can pop those out in under a day, he's very, he's just witty. And if you're kind of witty and funny, it was really brilliant. No one else is doing it, right?
Well, there's a lot. I
don't think anybody else is like, hey, let me roast your. I'll roast your coworker in a song. I'll put it on the internet, and I know it'll get 1 million views the second I post it.
The only reason that works for him is because
he's the baddest of the bad.
He's already famous doing funny songs. But I think a lot of people just use AI to do that now. There's all these things I see.
Yeah, well, he performs the song live.
Yeah,
he like performs it and posts it as a TikTok, an Instagram reel, a Facebook reel. That's what he
for $1,000.
That's what you're buying.
It's kind of worth it.
And then and every one of them go viral, so he gets paid off the TikTok views. He gets $1,000. He's going to be, it's going to be 500,000, 1 million views every time he does one, which is every day he does a new one. I'm yet to hear one that I'm not. Sometimes you can tell, like, okay, I can tell he had to write 20 this month, and he was getting to the end of the end of my creativity rope.
He's got to take a breather.
Yeah,
like how many times can you write it? But if it's for individual people, then it's fine.
Oh, because that's what that's what he said. He said it's not. He said you get a new subject every time somebody sees like, hey, this guy I work with Dave at the oil change place. They'll never fucking do his job, pull his weight. Okay, well that's a whole new topic. So now I can just write about
oil changes.
Dave's a pussy and unloyal bitch, but he still comes in
and make it clever about the oil changing place.
And you tie it into so everything's kind of a new scenario for him. But then when he's like, man, but when you're like, okay, I really want to do this. I want to like make an album, like a real album. And then people are like, what is this garbage?
Yeah, we don't want
Same
that.
thing. If you do he's
going to have to change the name.
That's why you do. You're smart about it. You have different monikers, so you can just do your children's song. You could just make up a name for your children. Like
it could be a silly name.
Hinckley.
No, I don't even need to be like that. I could just be like, make something. Something stupid. Kids don't know.
Yeah, make your real name something like Dr. Poo Poo Pants.
Yeah, right. This song is produced by Dr. Poo Poo Pants.
And then the kids will like, oh,
I want to hear Dr. Poo
another
Poo.
Banger from Dr. Poo Poo Pants. Excavator, excavator.
My rhinoceros, my famous rhinoceros song.
Dude. I bet you we could knock out 10 of those in a day. You could just. Okay, if we're gonna write about whatever, if you're writing about an elephant, 2 verses about an elephant, and then you just repeat the chorus ad nauseum.
Yeah,
that's really the.
Well, you just got to make it hokey and have a beat to it. We'll sit here and play music, and I mean, Maverick jumps around, watch him jump around to certain stuff. Like it's so funny with music and kids because he's almost 2. I'll play like.
God, is he almost 2 already?
Yeah, I'll play.
Crazy.
The Excavator song, and he's like,
Excavator.
And he knows it's goofy. He's like,
but he likes it. He digs it.
And
though.
He's all about it.
He digs it.
He's all about it. Justin Bieber, kind of the same thing. He loves the Biebs.
Yeah.
And he's like a baby. Oh. And then I'll put on Lamb of God, and as soon as he hears that grinding guitar, his face changes. He doesn't know what that is or he goes like this.
It gets
Automatically,
there's
kids
something,
like
it's
there's
something in us.
something about the sound of metal
Yo,
that makes you go like this.
for sure. Does he
From
seem
the
like
mouths
he,
of
does he seem like
babes.
he likes the
He
Lamb of
loves
God?
it. He loves it.
Yeah.
He's like, and he'll be like, I mean, he just
he
makes
knows-
he mean mugs a face.
He knows it's different than the Excavator song.
music, the music, the metal music gives you a mean mug. You're just like, yeah,
Yeah, it does. That's what it's supposed to do.
yeah.
Even not
Even
at
not
2
even
years old,
2 years
18
old yet. He's
18
running
months.
around here with a mean mug. He's like, yeah.
So you got any music that
It's
he
so
doesn't
weird.
like? You got any music that you've ever played where he's like, oh, that's I don't know if I'm feeling that. You can just get a vibe from him.
No, he likes to dance around and be funny, so
Yeah.
it's pretty fun.
He likes to be the center of attention, so he knows.
He's always that.
Yeah, and he knows.
He's always
and
that.
he knows when Pop's paying him attention.
Oh yeah, when we're all sitting right there, he knows how to get attention. He
Yeah.
knows what to do.
Yeah, let me entertain this crowd.
And then you get older as a teenager, and you learn how to go. Mom, that dress looks great. Can I get $20 to? You hit him with the compliment, or you give him a hug, and I love you. Oh, later I'm going to the movies. Can I get $20?
Well, I don't. I think
They're really good at that.
I think
too.
boys.
They get
I
really
think.
good at
I
that.
think boys can have a stronghold over their mama for a way long time, maybe forever, probably forever.
Well, I don't know.
I think boys different than daughters. I think it
I had 2 boys.
did. And how was your ex-wife could they manipulate her? Because my boys could manipulate my wife.
They didn't have to manipulate her. She just
did it.
Just did it.
Just did it. That's
She just did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
My wife can't fathom. Ever since the boys were born, Adrian couldn't. There's not a situation where she could imagine them even having to have a hard minute.
Yeah.
Anything,
Right.
anything that's gonna even be a mild inconvenience to them is too much for
It's
her to
too
even bear.
much.
Emotionally, she can't handle it.
I feel that a little bit, but you have to.
I do too, but you
like,
have to.
the worst thing that like obviously when you're raising your kids, you never want them to have a bad day or have a bad.
No,
feeling
you
or
want to be
anything.
awesome, right?
But that's not real life.
Part of that.
And it's part of it, but I was always just like, man, if I could just win the lottery and have $50 million, my kids would never have to do anything, but that would make them shit people.
Terrible
It
people.
would make them terrible people.
So even if you won the $50 million, even if you have the $50 million, even if you have the means, we have the means to do a lot of things. You still have to say no to, right? You can't be in a constant state of yes. I feel like my wife would be in a constant state of yes.
Let's do a little trucking business real quick
Let's knock it
over
out
on the podcast.
Okay. Yeah, we got time.
Hey Siri, call Paul Wilkerson.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, what is your ETA over to Brunswick? They're wanting to know, so they'll have people ready to go.
I'm not 100 sure. I'm 30 miles from Jessup. What is it? 40 miles on over from Jessup on over there?
Yeah. So let's say, what, an hour?
Yeah,
Hour and a half?
Tell them hour and a half somewhere. 'Cause I
Okay.
wouldn't have to stop for anything.
I'll let them know.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Mike.
bye.
Let's go an hour and a half. So we're.
Let's go an hour and a half. We don't want to.
You
Well,
wanna
I can actually do this. Here, I'll put the thing on you while I know exactly where he is. So
You need to under promise, over deliver. So you know exactly where he is. You can just map it to the destination.
I can map it, and then
He didn't know how far away he was, so.
I know where he is. He told me. He's said he's right before Jessup. So we'll do some directions here to Brunswick.
And that's going to give you a perfect, like, no traffic, no anything. You don't really know what's going on.
No, it gives you traffic
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's Google. So he's right here. He's about an hour and 20 out.
So
We'll
tell them
him
an hour and a half.
We'll tell him an hour and a half.
You want to under promise, over deliver, right? I would assume in the trucking business you'd want to do that. In any business, but especially in business with timelines.
Yeah. They're having a shutdown, right? Their annual shutdown at Brunswick, at a mill in Brunswick.
So you
So
you sent them the text. Everything's good now.
everything's good. We're doing it. That's just like, all day long, a lot of my work is telling people when trucks are going to get there.
Yeah.
That's a lot of my work. And then
Don't you just get so tired of talking to people after some point? Like I do.
that's why I'm a terrible friend to people, because I don't want to be on my phone after I'm off work.
You're the perfect friend for me, because me and you are exactly the same. Like, me and you know that, like, I think me and you know intrinsically that we cannot speak for 19 days, and everything is super great.
Super great between us.
There is no issue.
And it's like today, you're like, hey, bring your motorcycle over. We'll go for a little ride before we do the podcast. And you were like, I can't get the battery. I think the battery's dead. And I was like, no problem. Just come over. We'll do it later.
Yeah.
You know, not a big like, oh man, I can't hang out with Ray. He doesn't take fucking care of his motorcycle.
But not everybody has the same. A lot of people be like, oh, so and so doesn't call me, or didn't text me, or didn't do. Oh, he's probably talking shit about me. Doesn't like me.
Oh my god, I don't have time for that.
This would be so exhausting, right?
I weeded out every single one of those people in my life, and it funneled down to me and you.
Yeah,
because we're the same. Like, we both came in today hot. Like, we're both mad about the same things. We're right there.
Yeah, and we were.
We're mad about money and everything.
And let me tell you what we were talking about this about. When you say we're mad about money, it's not like not like anyone's broke, or like we are, but like in big scheme of thing we are.
We wouldn't be 20 years ago.
We just reached this point in your existence where you're like, fuck. If you're like 50 or 55 or 60 or 45 or 40, anywhere when you of some age and experience,
middle age,
and you start going, this is kind of it.
Yeah.
Is this kind of it? Like, because all the way up until about 40, you're kind of playing the game like, what's next? Okay, college. What's next? Got me a job. What's next? Buy me a house. What's next? Have me some kids.
Sports car.
What's next? Get me a sports car. Get me a motor. And you do all these what's next. You always have these things. You reach a point like in your mid to late 40s, which is that's really why they call it, I guess, a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
And me and you didn't even talk about this. I'm just talking about it now.
Oh, okay.
When you get to a point where you go, what the fuck are we doing?
What am I doing?
Like, if you go, what's next? And the answer is, there is no next.
Right.
And it just feels daunting. And it feels like this daunting overwhelm. And then as you and I were talking about, it seems like the world is constantly trying to extract more money out of me than I could ever possibly generate.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. There's no number of
well, it's like
number you can make, and there's no number you can make in a realistic setting. That's going
to put us on easy street.
That helps.
There's no easy street.
There's nothing gets better. Nothing gets
listen, like, I'm riding my motorcycle on these back roads, and it's pretty windy, and the road's terrible, and I'm like, if my tire blew and I was dead now, I don't care.
It's what it is.
I don't care. It is what it is. Now I don't have to just do life. And that's wonderful. New game. Maybe you just come. I'll just come right back to the earth and be born again.
Maybe you won't have to come back. Maybe we get to finally fly free. And I don't want it to seem like, and it's weird, like, because me and you were like, me and you were like,
crash into a tree.
We're positive people.
Yeah,
like, we're positive people with productive lives that are generally happy. And we feel this way. This is what I think about. I'm like, if I feel this way as a generally positive person with a happy life, who can't really, and I feel like, fuck, no matter what I do, there's no, what could I do? How could you get you can't beat it.
There's no beating it.
And you're stuck in this motherfucker.
I keep telling the young people around us.
Yeah.
I tell them, look, you were born to a certain place in life, and that's where you are.
And that's where you are.
If you're not willing to put forward
more
time, effort, and luck, and then on top of all of that, become way more successful than your station,
than your family,
then what you need to do is you need to find something you like to do and do it.
That's right.
And then you go to your other job where you're like, fuck this job, and you do that. And then you do that job to do the thing you like to do, because I'm not going to say
that's what
nobody ever, but you're probably not going to be like a Google CEO type person with that kind of money.
Yeah.
Born into the stations that we were born into.
Born into the stations we were born into.
That's just not realistic.
If you ever notice, if somebody is the parent, if somebody is the child, right, of two surgeons, good likelihood they're going to be a surgeon.
Probably.
Right? They're going to be, but they're if somebody is born into high finance and their dad is the CEO of Chase, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are they gonna? They're gonna be like a CEO of Chase. And if you're born into like middle class, regular shit, It's just middle class regular shit. And when you have and to me, I don't remember when I had the realization. When you have the realization of like, it's like I hate to say
it's depressing.
It's depressing when you have the realization of like nothing fantastic's gonna happen to me. Nothing special's gonna happen to me.
Well, I really tried. I tried in
bro.
the beginning when I was in the band and we signed the record deal and all that. I thought I was like, this is it. This is the special thing.
And we're
then
talking.
Then it all just fell apart.
And we're talking real here. This is real life talk because
No,
this is a podcast. That's the
this
point. That's the
podcast
point
is
of
real.
our podcast. Like
Yeah.
these are like I don't want anybody to take away from this that like, oh, they're just we're truly not negative people. We're
I'm not
optimistic.
negative. I'm not bitter about anything. I'm just saying, like, you realize
depressing.
that it's a little depressing, but I'm not a person that stays depressed. I go to the gym. I like to eat well. All those things I like to try and keep.
Get on your motorcycle, do a
get
little
on my
podcast, write some
motorcycle,
music, do some shit.
play some golf. Those are just things that you do to break the monotony of doing the job you have to do. And I love my job. My
Yeah.
job's great. And
I
love my job.
I like my job,
but it's a job.
I like my job, but it's a job, and it's never going to. It's never going to give me what maybe what you thought at some point you would have, and here's the thing that we were talking about before the podcast. Also, there's also people that you could get. I know you could get. I'm not, but you don't. I don't have a bad job. I'm saying every job you think of is the same terrible.
Yeah.
Unless there's only a few. I guess there's only a few.
I don't know anybody that goes to a job and is just like,
Sure
my job is it's zero stress. Whatever I say goes, and I have no consequences when I want to not do it.
But if
see,
you
that's not a job. That's something else.
But if you're from a station in life where you don't have to, where you just, if you're like, if you
Trust
like,
fund baby.
If you're a trust fund baby or whatever, if I was the CEO of Chase, I would put my kid on I'd be like, you have to be in finance, like, 'cause
Right.
you want and then you're going to be better than me,
Right.
Right. It's nobody's fault. Well, I mean, I guess it's everybody's fault for. I don't even know. I don't know where I'm going with this. Like, maybe everybody's having kids in situations they shouldn't be having kids in, right? Like,
Right.
all the way back. Like,
Listen,
every family.
I'm great. I'm good. But it is a little depressing to be.
You're good.
I'm middle aged.
We're just good. We're both just good.
I'm middle aged, and I am starting to think about, like, I go, okay,
Yeah.
I have this much debt. How
am I ever
good
gonna pay
Lord, how am I gonna pay that back? I really don't have that much longer left on the planet. I'm 46. I'll probably live. My AI death thing says I'll be 71. Good Lord, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life trying to pay off all the shit I got.
That's
Fuck
25
this.
years. And what am I even? What
What
are
am I
you even doing? What
am
we
I
even
doing?
You're trying to pay this perpetual debt. They lock you into perpetual debt from the minute you're born.
Right.
Nobody.
Oh no! When I went to Louisiana
Nobody
Tech,
advises you that this is bullshit.
nobody tells you
Nobody
how
tells
to
you
deal with
nothing.
anything. None of these kids even, like, they didn't even know that, like, when you get loans, they don't just loan you money like your brother would loan you money and be like, don't worry, there's no interest. They tack in. You're like, what's interest? You're like, well, they don't teach you this in high school.
And then that's our fault for not. There's not enough time in the 18 years you have with your children to explain everything to them. By the time
They don't want to hear it.
By
anyway.
the time they can start grasping concepts like that, they're gone.
yeah,
I feel guilty about that every day.
yeah.
Like this kind of talking openly and candidly. This is stuff that, like, that shit drives me crazy. I'm like, man, all my kids are grown, right? And I did everything I could do.
I
for
really
them.
just want them to be happy.
Yeah,
And
but
they turn on the television, the phone, and everything shows all these people with money, and they look like they're very happy, so they're not happy.
And we're on a prison planet,
Yeah,
we're debt slaves, and we're trying to convince each other that it's correct, even though we know that it's the Matrix. We know intrinsically at our core that this is bullshit. That we're not designed to live like this. That we
Right.
could break free.
Right.
I believe this with
I
all my
believe
heart.
it too.
We know intrinsically, deep down, that we could break out of this shit. We could just say fuck off. If we all said fuck off collectively, it doesn't make any sense that you're tired of all this debt, that you just worked to provide a place to sleep. We could sleep anyway.
Right.
You could sleep anyway, regardless. We've all just accepted this horse shit. And then as we get a little older, 30s and 40s, we feel like, well, I'm a grown up now. I have to tell the next generation. This is just how it is.
This is
and
how it is, and if they don't do it, I'm going to get mad at them and be like, no, do it.
And then everybody.
I did it.
Yeah, and then everybody keeps telling everybody, like, it's just the way it is. So then eventually everybody just goes, it's just the way it is. And you just have this mob of zombies.
It is one thing
This
I
mob
would
of
credit to the millennials that are underneath us that
Or the Z's. I think
or
the Z's
Zs.
got
the
Z's.
millennials when they came into the workplace they were like, well, no, we're not gonna work.
I'm not gonna do that,
We're
no.
not gonna do that.
Yeah.
We're not gonna work extra, and we're not gonna do this.
Not for free.
Not
Just
for
to
free.
not to climb some fucking ladder, chase some invisible
But
carrot
like
you've
us,
got.
we're like, oh, we'll just do it because we need our jobs. But and they were like, well, maybe we want Friday. Like there are a lot of places I deal with where they take a half day on Friday, and I'm always like, I always do this is so I'm not a
boomer shit.
boomer, but I
Yeah.
do boomer shit. I'm like, this is my go-to for that, and I can't stop myself from doing it because it aggravates me because
you're working on Friday.
I would love to have a half day on Friday.
Yeah.
I go, hey, could you go ahead and put me in an application at that place because that sounds real nice.
Well,
It's such a dickhead thing.
but
to
it
say.
should sound nice.
Oh, it is
It
nice.
should be good.
I've been
And
brainwashed to be a
you've been
dickhead about
brainwashed
it.
to be a dickhead about it, like we all have.
Yeah.
If you're of a certain age, you don't even like the things I'm saying. There's a whole segment of the population that'll just interpret it all wrong, as if I'm lazy or like I've worked my whole life,
Right.
more hours than you could ever imagine. I'm saying it took me 30 years to realize like it takes you getting close to the end and seeing it and going, what's next? Early in your life, there's so many things driving you to what's next.
What's next?
Boom, your kid's born, so you're like, oh, boom, before you know it, kindergarten started. Oh, let's get him for kindergarten. And then before you know it, like, get him for middle school. And everything becomes about these little people, right?
Right.
When those little people are grown, I will say this 47, 46, 48 range has been the weirdest transition of my life.
It's
Harder,
weird.
going from like a teenager to an adult. That was easy because it was like I went into the military, then I went to college. It's like, okay, you go do this, then you go do this, then you go get this job, and you're just chasing this what's next. I wish I knew what was next, or I wish I even thought, is there a next? There's no. When I'm like, there's no. The only next for me could be like, oh, if I wanted to get in a deeper level of debt, I could sell my house I currently have and buy a bigger house, and that would be a next.
Well,
but I
I
already
wanna-
have a big enough house.
I would want a smaller house so
Yeah.
I could
Oh,
pocket
that's-
some money or pay off some debt. Like I got like this. So you said 45, 46, 47, 48.
At post 40, yeah,
I'm
I'd say
46.
post 44, somewhere
I'm
in there.
46 and now I'm so different than what I used to be like.
Of course.
I really love the maturity I have now and the knowledge I have
That's
now.
helpful. Yeah.
And I really love that. And I'm not running around like cockstrong, like
Yeah, nothing
just
to prove-
talking shit,
nothing to
making like just snap judgments on everything, and in a half second, like I used to do all the time. Like, oh, what? No. That's
you're
messed
wrong.
up.
Yeah,
That's wrong.
yeah,
I just shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
That kind of bullshit. When you're older now, you're just like, well, I'm not gonna shoot a guy for trying to break into my car outside. I'm probably just gonna run him off, and he won't come back.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
But I'm not gonna
shoot
kill him.
I'm not gonna kill him.
Yeah.
When you're in your 20s, you're like, I'd shoot that motherfucker dead, and you're like, you'd shoot him over your bike.
Yeah.
No.
There's still a part of me that, like,
It's still a part of
I
me
don't
that
want to
thinks-
shoot and kill somebody because like you think about the concept. You're gonna think about that.
I know.
Even if he's doing something bad, you killed
The
someone.
boomer, yeah,
you're
I
gonna
know.
think about
I totally get it. I'm on the same page. But the boomer in me I can't let the inequity go of you fucking thinking you have the audacity to break into my shit, motherfucker.
Well, now if somebody breaks into my house, I'm gonna shoot him.
Yeah, I don't want.
That's me or them.
Yeah, you don't wanna have a-
If it's my bike, I'll scare them off. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
shoot. You shoot somebody in the back running away from you, you're going to prison.
Yeah, maybe shoot him in the ankle. Maybe,
But,
don't break it. Don't break people's
The
cars.
shooting thing is like a metaphor for my thinking levels now. And like,
I'm with you. I know exactly- I know
listen
what you're
to
saying.
younger people talk, and I sit there and I listen to them talk, and then I do that older person thing where I go, well,
Or you think
calm down for a second.
You think you don't know shit.
You don't know anything. Let me explain to you with my experience what this is. And then they see, but most young people, there are some young people that I know that will listen to what I say and then food for thought. There are also other young people like how I was and probably how you were that you're going to have to learn that shit on your own. You're not going to listen to anybody until you go, you're going to go get the 35% loan. You're going to learn it on your own. You're like, I want the money.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember anyone telling me anything.
No, I don't either.
Well,
My dad told me things, but nothing about
nothing. I'm telling you, and I had great parents or whatever.
I did too.
I went
Still do.
I went into college. I'm telling you, this is going to make me sound stupid, and I'm not stupid. I went to college. I realistically didn't even know what jobs were. I swear on my life. I swear to God.
I didn't either.
I
don't think I did either.
I genuinely.
You know what I studied the first 2 years of college?
What?
Psychology. What was I going to do with that? I was like, oh, I kind of like psychology. That's my major.
We just thought we kind of liked it, but I'm telling you, like, I didn't even know. Like, if you would have said, like,
let me get this phone call.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Mike. Oh, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey, it's Noah.
Hey.
Had a truck driver here show up for a roll. I think it's your guy.
Yeah. Going to
is he
West
here to
Monroe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he supposed to pick up that Mart roll or something else?
Is it Ryan? I don't know. Let me see. Ryan should be there. It's supposed to go to West Monroe. It's 39,000 pounds. I got a picture of it. Did you send me a picture of it?
Yeah, so that one we had talked about, and I asked about it, and I said I needed to follow up on it. But let me make a quick phone call. I'll call, if everything's good, you won't hear from me, but I might call you back.
Okay.
Just a couple minutes. All right, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he didn't follow
Yeah.
up with me. Now he's trying to figure out how to ship it.
What to do. So yeah, I mean, and it could have just been it was probably my own, living in my own, like, world or whatever. Okay, a couple things. I didn't know.
I lived in my own world too, big time.
I graduated high school. I had no idea what my dad did for a living. None.
Oh, I knew what Dad did.
I knew that my dad worked for a natural
How
gas.
did you not know what your dad did?
I'm telling you. I'm just listening to I'm just telling you my experience, because no one was telling me anything. He certainly wasn't, like, explaining what he did.
Oh, my dad did.
Oh, fuck no.
Every second.
There was not even a second of that. He never ever explained any, like, this is what I do, this is how I do
My dad explained a lot to me about life too.
Oh, no, I never got that. Nothing.
My dad taught me to be a good driver by like he'd be driving down the road. There was a time where and he's like telling me, he's like, I drive and I check my mirrors all the time. He's like telling me this when I'm 10.
Yeah.
Like 10 years old.
That kind of stuff, like that. But as far as, like, I'm talking about career, end of the world type of stuff.
Oh no,
like,
no.
I never knew what in the world. I still, right now, if I had to write a 1-page paper on what my dad did when I was growing up, I could not do it. Hand to the bottom.
I could write a book.
I couldn't write a one paragraph, and I can write anything. I could not write a 1 paragraph that I could say where he worked, where we lived when he worked there, maybe how the job made him feel from time to time, and that'd be the end. That'd be the full end of the thing. Never, and probably because I wouldn't have been. I don't even know if I would have been interested. I probably wasn't, but I did. So I did. So I did ranch work with my grandfather, so I knew that that's work, but that didn't seem like that's work that, like. And then I knew there were things like, okay, there's like doctors and lawyers. Then I just didn't know, like, I didn't know that people did what they did or how you get there. I didn't understand a path to get there. I didn't understand none of that. All of this I had to completely discover on my own. Like, I guess a lot of people, but I mean, I'm telling you my entire life, I never had one discussion about a career. Really? Not one. Not once.
Well,
my parents never said.
Remember, you know the story.
My parents
about
never
my dad.
said, yeah.
The ditch, that I'm like 11 or 10 years old running around.
Yeah, when you were trying to do stuff, and he's like, "There's enough
and he's like,
archaeologists."
yeah. And I was like, I want to be an archaeologist, and he's like, everything's been found.
But now we're finding nothing's been found. Everything was a
Nothing's-
lie, and they could have
everything's-
really used. They could have really been used.
I could have been the alien guy.
I didn't like. I knew that there were like archaeologists, but I didn't know that like you get paid to do that. I knew there were like. I'm telling you, I just didn't know anything.
I loved like
No one talked
dinosaur.
to me about
I
it.
loved dinosaur bones and Indiana Jones, and he was an archaeologist. And I loved. We went to the Smithsonian when I was 10. And I saw the dinosaur bones. So I was like into that.
I was into dinosaurs.
I was into like finding them and archaeology at 10, 11 years old.
I was into dinosaurs. I'm saying I didn't know. I was into dinosaurs, and I knew there were people that discovered that. I didn't know that that's something that's a way you could get paid. Again, I didn't know what my own father did to get paid. I knew my mom sometimes did taxes. I didn't even really know what that. I just went out there. I didn't really know enough. I didn't know shit. I knew nothing except like my own world. I didn't know what. I went into criminal justice because I just thought like, oh, if you got it, half the majors.
Be a detective.
No, and that was because I the only I knew it was a job. But when I'm looking at majors, I didn't know what those majors were. It's a true story. I'm going to college. No one's going with me. No one's showing you anything. Yeah. I don't even know what these majors are. I don't know what they mean. I don't. This is a job.
And then
cardiologist.
What year was that?
95.
So the internet really wasn't a thing.
The internet wasn't a thing. So all I have, and this is like I said, this like I'm not. I mean, I'm just more able to admit these things. Like right that I thought people would be like, yeah, now like because then you're just faking it till you make it, right?
Faking it.
Like
let's.
I learned more as my friends were like, as we're all getting majors and stuff, and people are. I'm like, oh okay, but I just didn't know. Like I just didn't. There was never. No one ever talked about. We never talked about career paths or money or finance or how to do things or how the world works. Nothing.
Yeah, the finance that is like save your money. But didn't tell me how to save it.
Like
okay, so here's
I didn't even get that. I don't think I really got
was
that.
like kind of like my path. When I was graduating high school, and I was about to go to Louisiana Tech, Dad was like, "Get a job." So I was like, "Okay, I'll go to Walmart and get a job."
Because that's what I see as a job. I knew that those are jobs you could see.
That's what I see as a job. Walmart. So I can do Walmart from 2 to 11 at night, and in the morning I'll go to college. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
And then that went to. Do you remember because it's a vestibule area when you walk into Walmart, the crane?
Yeah, the crane.
I said crane
because you ended up working for them, right?
I ended up working for those people. Like,
how'd you figure that out? Because you're like, somebody's doing that.
Our neighbor was doing that, and they were like, they wanted to hire somebody, and I was like, well, I want to do that, and like so here I am at 19 years old. 19 years old, I get a car. They give me a company car. I moved to Shreveport. I'm 19. I had gotten really sick and dropped out.
We were
of college.
30 at 19, though. Our generation,
right?
Gen X,
we really were.
Yeah, we were buying houses at 21.
19 years old. This company and I was paid well. I would ride around with thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in quarters and in toys in this car and go to all these places and change them out. Never once I thought, hey, I wonder if somebody's following me and like run me off the road, or I'll stop and like kill me and rob me because they see me getting money out of these things.
Yeah, I think, and it was a more.
But like, and I'm 19 years old and I'm getting money out. I'm going in the back of Walmart using one of these like counters and counting. Walmart got like a percentage. I can't remember what it was.
And you had to give them their percentage.
I had to give them the percentage right then and there. And I gave them their money, and then I walked out with money, put it in the car, and drove.
How much do those machines typically make? You remember?
Okay, so growing up, my dad, I was like, Dad, can I have a quarter? I want to get the bouncy ball, or I want to get the sticky hand. Dad said to me, nobody puts money in those. Nobody pays for those. Dad, I want to use the claw machine. Nobody does that.
My dad loves claw machines.
No, my dad still loves claw machines. My dad was he was like, nobody does that. Nobody puts money in those. We're not going to put our money in them. I get this job. The first, I'm being trained. He pops open the first claw machine. It has $800 in it, and he was there 3 days before that.
So your dad was wrong.
Dad was wrong.
Dad
was wrong.
Tough pill pop, but you were way wrong. I could have told your dad because my dad would put $100 in one trying to get a bear.
People sunk so much money in those machines, and I learned. And like I'm 19. I'm a kid.
They're making $500 to $800 every couple of days out those machines.
Out of the big one. They had like 4 or 5 machines in there. That company was called Sugarloaf, and they would put like expensive things in there. Like there's like Wizard of Oz dolls in there that were worth $50.
Oh, there's a decent watch or something.
Pretty decent watch. And then there were other games that they had, but I never opened one up and it had less than $200 in it. even the small games.
Yeah, I wonder what made your dad. What made your
He
dad,
just didn't want to give me the money. He didn't
Yeah.
want to give me the money
Yeah,
to do it.
yeah.
You know,
so he's
'cause-
just trying to convince you that no one would ever.
Nobody.
do this.
It's like
You'd be a
nobody puts money in those.
You'd be a fool to be doing this.
You'd be a fool.
Which you are. Like
and you are a fool.
Yeah, you are
He
a
is
fool.
not wrong. You
Yeah.
are a fool.
Because it takes about $50 probably before that place gives up a bear.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about how that works because I know all about it. I
Mm-hmm.
learned everything there was to learn about these machines. I'm 19 years old. I'm going to Dallas. I'm driving to Dallas to go to these company meetings where they teach us how to like take apart the machine, fix the machines, the claws and all the parts in them, and like fix all the machinery in them and stuff. So we're like in classes all day. I'm in there with like 50-year-old dudes that are working for this company, and I'm 19. And it was a good
19's
company.
That's the problem now, though. See, 19's I was doing grown
Well,
up stuff at 19 and 22.
Well, let me tell you this.
You're a full adult.
So the way that those claw machines work is there's a voltage meter in it, and the voltage, the more you crank the voltage up, the harder it grips.
The stronger the grip is, right?
You can make it grip anything by anything, and it would grip it and yank it out of there.
If it had enough voltage, if you turn the voltage up enough.
So you would count all the secondary stuff in there, and you would count the high end stuff, and if the high end stuff was getting taken out, you'd crank the voltage down just a little bit. You weren't allowed to go. You weren't allowed
can't go
to
too far.
Too far because it's gaming. It's kind of commissioned by a gaming commission, kind of.
Yeah. It's regulated, but
it's
regulated. How often is it getting checked?
It's regulated.
Yeah.
So you weren't allowed to, and there were signs in the machine that was like, you can't go below this, but this is where you go if somebody's gotten all of our good shit out of here. You go to this number,
And then put more good
and
shit
then
in,
you
right?
put a voltmeter on it and test the machine and watch the voltmeter pick something up and then adjust it. So that's the
that's
way you
interesting.
did that. It was a good job. I
How
wish
many-
I wouldn't have quit that job.
How many toys would you typically put in a machine at a stop?
Dude, we're talking about I was 19 years old, 46 now. How many toys would I put in?
Yeah, like on average. You don't have to be like specifically remember, like, oh yeah, the Walmart.
8 to 10 every 3 days.
So let's think about this. You're putting 8 to 10 $1 toys.
Plush. And they had
for
their
$800.
They had their own company that made plush toys. Like you would pull
For-
like a plush toy out of like a dragon or something, and it would say Sugarloaf on it
For a quarter from
10.
China, right?
A quarter from China.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So basically something that cost me $2 or $3, I'm getting $800. So imagine the
Yeah.
margin.
Oh,
the,
it's
the,
insane
the machines
margins.
are probably $5,000. They're paid for in 2 weeks, 3
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
Fuck, I should have got into.
That-
See, that's the kind of shit.
My brother bought some, not those machines, but he bought like candy machines. That was like one of his. He did a long time ago. He went and put all these gumball machines in all these restaurants.
Do you feel like you could? Do you feel like there would be no limit to the amount of money you could make if you could get proper capital? I feel that way. Like if you had access to capital.
As in my own being, or just in general as people?
In general, you could go get your hands on $10 million.
Could I make
Make
more
a
money?
shitload, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A shitload more
Yeah.
money. That's the whole piece. Is I'm gonna grab this work call. That's the
All
whole
right.
piece. Is
Yeah.
access to capital. Hello. Oh, what's up? There's no little podcast. What's happening? Nine plus 3. Oh yeah, just I'd whittle it down as best you could. I'd go to probably four crew members and the trainees. That'll be good.
Hey.
Yeah, 2 of those are in
Okay.
training in the kitchen.
That's fine with me.
Did Ralph do his paperwork yet?
I sent him and
If he has
We
not
didn't
done it, send him
finalize
home
that thing.
immediately until he does it, and then I'd go down to like 2 up front if you got you and Joe.
so it's going to West Monroe.
Yep, and then just manage as best you can.
All right.
All right, bye. This is interesting. Both of us are working on the. We're both just working on the podcast.
Well,
No, don't you think-
well, this brings us to this other point. This brings us to this. We said that, like, I need to get somewhere to set this place up to do the podcast so we can have the green screens back. It's super lax
Yeah, we
right
went
now,
along-
and it doesn't look the way I want it to look. It doesn't.
Yeah, we want it to feel like
it doesn't look the way I want it to
we want a room
look.
with green screens, and we could set up decoration like we had it in the other one. It was pretty. The other
Pretty
studio,
neat.
it was pretty neat. But then we've had to move it out here.
I
which
want to
still
have the
like.
right equipment. I want to have my equipment in front of me, not behind me, so I can like
Again, wouldn't
work with it.
access to capital make all this?
That's where I'm bringing this
Yeah,
is
both-
access to capital and money that we could put, like we said, we wanted to put more effort into it and work and do skits and all this stuff. If we had the capital and the money to do advertising and all this stuff and push it, we could probably. There's dudes out there that would watch us do this podcast.
Of course, everybody's going to.
I watch all kinds of podcasts when I'm doing nothing or listening to them.
Everybody identifies with different personality
Everybody
types.
identifies
for sure.
with everybody else. But with the amount of capital, if we had the capital, we could make a little money doing it.
Capital is the problem for everybody.
Yeah.
I think and I think it's almost gotten systemic where it's like it's reached a boiling point in society where like no one has access to enough capital except this very few amount of people.
Mm-hmm.
And of course we're both Trump voters, right? Yeah. So I'm like I cannot shill for billionaires. I can't do it. Like
no.
I cannot lick boots of my corporate overlords.
I mean, I like Elon Musk.
I like him.
And I like him, but I also kind of think that
I like Elon.
I also kind of think, though, because of all the things he has his hands in, that he might be a Dr. Evil type because he's got the Neuralink thing and he's got the satellite.
I think he's
stuff.
doing well. I think his heart's in the right place.
Listen to this.
Yeah.
Listen to this theory because of the Neuralink goes into your brain, the satellites all around giving us internet, the cars that drive themselves. It's almost like he's got all this cool shit, and I love it, and everything that he's into is all cool. But if he really was an evil, like Dr. Evil type person, he could, and everybody's going to have robots in their houses in the next 10 years. I'm buying one.
3 years.
I'm saying he could be a Dr. Evil type, and I'm like, I'm going to buy a Tesla.
Well, we're still
I'm going to buy a
buying
robot.
into the theory that he's saying, right? He's saying it's probably 80% good, 20% bad.
Right.
Maybe
So,
Elon. I believe that he's good and his heart's in the right place, but I'm not naive. I'm not naive to the fact that it could be not good. Right.
but like I'm saying,
it could be that.
I like him, and he has all the technology. Okay, cool. He has all the technology to turn everything against people. That's the crazy part about it, because he could have robots that were like, you're not allowed to leave your home. And he's got the Neuralink thing where he can beam stuff into people's brains, and they're like, I need to buy Choco Dots for cereal or whatever, Choco Dots.
Let me throw this. This is something Adrian, my wife, threw at me the other day, and I was like, really couldn't believe that she was throwing, because she doesn't really, her mind doesn't really work like that usually. She was like, what if all this shit that Elon Musk is, she's like, how's it possible that he's even to do? She's like, I don't believe it's real. She's like, the amount of things that they say he's doing and that he's able to lead and run seems like a scam. Like someone else has set all this up and made him the face of, which is really profound from her.
I've always thought that about everyone. I think that about everyone we see on television and on the internet. I think they're all just players in a big play.
All the world's
a stage.
We are merely players,
and they're
performers and portrayers.
Yeah, they're just
just people. Because she's like,
what was that? That was you.
She's like, she's like, and it was really smart from her. I was like, she's like, there's no possible way that he could. I was like, well, there is. He's just smarter than everybody. She goes, I get it, but like the things they're saying and then the things he's able to do, and it's all so fast, and it's so much. He does so much so quick that no one else can do.
Well, think about this. Think about this for a second. So he backs Donald Trump immediately. His main people that bought his cars were liberals, left-swinging liberals. Then he goes, how do I sell more cars? I've already sold all the cars I can sell to liberals.
So then it becomes
now I need to sell them to conservatives. I'm going to back Donald Trump and become a conservative.
But I don't think he works like that. I
think he does. I think he
just wants to do what's right.
So you just said he's like this. He's a genius. He's the smartest man. How do you sell more cars to people that?
Oh yeah.
So he did that. So now, I mean, my brother went and bought one. Everybody went.
Well, let me
finish this thought real quick. He does that. And he is smart enough to. He probably had all these models set up to where he's like, I'm going to take a hit. and I'm going to take a hit. But in the long run, now everyone is buying my cars because they either like the car that they've already bought, or they like my political standings, and the conservative Republican right people will buy them from now on because I'm wearing a Trump hat everywhere I go.
Which is what's going to happen.
That's just one tiny little piece of his whole moves too, which is great
because he's
smart. It doesn't make him good or bad.
Because in like 20 days, in 20 days or so, 30 days, he backs over the.
Sorry.
He backs out of the government anyway, right? So he's by law has to be out in like 100 and something days. So they're already planting the seed that he's backing out. Soon as he backs away and backs out, and other people are running Doge, he'll be a forgotten story because it won't be important to the news cycle. And Tesla stock's going to go like this.
Straight up.
Then Optimus is going to come out, and Tesla's going to go to $1,000 a share from $260 or whatever it is. They were never going to be able to kill the brand, but I genuinely think this is what he thought. And I hate to speak for someone else, especially another grown man, but this is what I think he thought. I think he thought, hey, a lot of these talking points from the conservatives are super reasonable right now, right? I think if I show that people that you can have reasonable conversations, that the whole world, I think he was naive enough to believe this, that the whole world will embrace common sense and the whole world will understand that, oh yeah, well, they're just trying to get waste out. Oh yeah, they're just trying to get the illegal immigrants or the criminals out. I think he thought more people would be enthusiastic about those things, right? Because it seemed like in November that it seemed like in October, November, everybody was acting real enthusiastic about those things.
Right.
But so I think he thought he would get a lot more reasonable response from the people he already considered friends, i.e. the left.
He didn't understand the machine that is politics.
The fucking nastiest, grossest
fucking
shit.
bitch on the planet. I hate it.
So gross.
I hate it.
I love it. I love it and hate it at the same time.
I can't. I don't love it at all. I think it makes me mad.
It makes me mad that people can't have conversations.
People can't have conversations, and then the news. Every time I read something, it's meant to make me mad. If I am in whoever's camp I'm in, it's supposed to make me mad or happy or be like, oh yeah. It's supposed to make you go like this, and this is how smart it is. Such and such does such and such is such and such. And you go like this. You go, ooh, that makes me mad. I'm going to click on it. Ooh, that makes me happy. I'm going to click on it. They got us. They've totally figured out how to they got us no matter what.
Oh, yeah, like the article that...
It blows my mind.
The article yesterday...
I hate it.
The article yesterday...
I don't like to be controlled.
I don't either. I hate that's like my number one. The article yesterday said, Trump administration deports 2-year-old American citizen. Which is true.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, which is true, but let's talk this through now like reasonable adults, okay? Let's be reasonable adults if we can do that. That's what I hate about politics.
Let's me and you talk it. Okay, so
Yeah.
let me say what I know about it.
Uh-huh.
So you hear that. Then you hear then the side comes out to defend that, and it says the mother decided to take the child because the mother is illegal. And the child's an American. The mother wasn't going to leave her 2-year-old here and go back to Venezuela or wherever the fuck she's from. Clearly. And then you learn this whole thing where 99% of the mothers take their American children back. And those American children...
They're mamas.
Of course,
they're
their moms. They're 2 years old. Are they going to, stay here in America? I'm going to go back here.
Is your ex-wife or your mother not going to take their children when they were 2? My wife was going nowhere without the children, ever.
So you read that. Okay? So you're like, oh, of course. That's the first one where it just says deporting 2-year-olds.
2-year-old American citizens.
2-year-old American citizens.
Like we're kicking in the door.
It's
just
like the half truth of they don't give you everything, so you get outraged.
It's barely a half truth.
It's barely a half truth. So then they knock back with what? Then they knock back. What do they knock back with? One of these American kids has cancer that got deported.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're not going to receive any of their treatments.
No treatments.
And it's like, what the fuck? Like, once again, the mother decided to take the child back. But it's like, when they get back to their country, the kid's not going to get any cancer treatment?
They'll get cancer treatment. They'll get cancer treatment for that child.
The first thing she loves her child. The first thing she's going to do is she's going to go straight to wherever they get
Cancer
free
treatment.
cancer treatment, and she's gonna get
And
it.
she's gonna get it, of course. Just
But
like,
they have to hype everybody up with this cancer stuff. The cancer one, they came and knocked harder at it. They were like, "This kid has cancer." I'm just like waiting for the next one.
or how about
And I'm sorry that kid has cancer.
I'm sorry that he has cancer too.
That's
It's just, we're
awful.
just talking about the dishonesty
That's
of the
awful, the
media,
dishonesty of the
and
media.
the dishonesty of politics. Like, let's just talk the truth. Like, just tell me what the truth is, whatever that is. Left wing,
headline-
right
the
wing, be
headline-
damned. Let's just get to what the truth is, and let's deal with it like grown-ups.
The headline in a normal, non-competing two-side society would be, woman,
Illegal
immigrants
deported
gets
with her children.
with her children who are U.S.
Who are
citizens,
1 and 2.
decided to take them with her.
Yeah.
And everybody that hits you different. You're like, oh well, good for her.
Well, you're like,
she's
yeah,
a good mother.
you're-
She didn't leave her kid here just so you could have
She had to
hamburgers, American hamburgers.
Or you can have, like, you got an MS-13 gang member who beats his wife, who's been a criminal, and he gets deported to his home country of El Salvador, and the articles say, Maryland father sent to El Salvador prison.
right.
Get fucked.
Right. And then he didn't have to. Donald Trump holds up a sign of the dude's fingers that have the gang
Marijuana, smiley face, 13.
13.
What do we think that is?
What is that? Yeah. Yeah. So, and he's like, here's the proof, and everybody else is still outraged.
It's photoshopped. Well, no, they did you saw that art when they said it's photoshopped? Well, yeah, they wrote above it.
MS-13.
The marijuana, they were saying that's an M. That's clearly photoshopped.
Yeah, it
So
was
you can-
telling all you dummies what it meant.
So you can say the truth, which the truth that you say, well, it's photoshopped. So I'm telling the truth.
Oh yeah.
Right. I'm telling the truth because I go, well, yeah, the image was photoshopped. Yeah,
You
it was
know,
photoshopped when they were.
Ray, me and you didn't hang around the kids that did that. That actually, it's
Yeah.
photoshopped. You'd be like, we're not hanging out anymore.
No, you get an atomic wedgie. Like,
beat it. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you're not. But that's the dumb shit they try to do. They photoshopped the MS-13 on there so you could see what it meant. They're not
Right.
photoshopping the image. But
The
you're going to
image?
say that when it gets reported, well, he's an MS-13 gang member who beat his wife. Here's a report his wife made where she said, I'm scared to go back to El Salvador because my husband has rival gang members that want to kill him.
Yeah.
Well, who else has rival gang? I don't have rival gang members. Only people in gangs have rival gangs that want to kill them. Usually,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
So-
We're civilians.
But we're going to word this
in this.
We're going to put the article as Maryland father.
Yeah, it makes me so
Sent-
mad. I hate the
sent to
media.
El Salvador prison.
I hate the media.
I hate the media worse.
It's
Almost
the
worse than the whole left.
The media is the biggest.
Crock of shit.
Yeah, but they're an enemy. They're our
They're an enemy.
biggest enemy.
They are an enemy.
The media is the biggest enemy of the people because like if we all said we're tired of this bullshit, like you said earlier, like none of us are going to pay taxes. We're not going to pay taxes, and if everybody didn't, what are they going to do about
Nothing.
it? Nothing.
That's
What-
about
and-
you know.
and-
You know they're expecting 11% less to pay this year.
yeah, yeah.
It's like
Oh,
11.
really?
like-
People? we're ramping
That,
up to
that,
it.
that means like 10 or 12 million people have just decided in mass, I ain't
We're
fucking
not
doing
paying.
it. I'm not doing it.
Well, they should.
And now Trump's moved to 200
So
grand.
then the media is commissioned by the people that run the world to break us apart into all these tiny segments. And the easy ones are easy. White, black, Hispanic.
Gay, straight.
Gay, straight is the next
But that
level.
wasn't enough. You had to make it trans.
Then we got to go trans.
accept
and then
the
we
gay
got,
people, we had to give them trans.
now gay people got too accepted by everybody, so now we're going to do something different.
little more extreme.
A little bit more extreme and a little more extreme. It's like what I told my son a long time ago. I said, when you're my age or you're 50 years old, it's going to be get more and more extreme to break everybody up into boxes. There'll be people who are like, well, I want to have sex with my dog and marry it. And that's who I am, and that's my truth. And if you don't believe it, that's terrible.
Well,
You're a piece of shit if I can't marry this dog and have sex with it.
Well, they were moving it to maps. You know about maps, right? Yeah.
What?
Map.
Map. What's map?
You should call them minor attracted person. They're not a pedophile.
Oh, pedophiles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they just have a type that they're attracted to. They're a minor attracted person, and they tried to normalize this language.
That's not going to get normalized.
It almost did. Shit,
can't- there ain't
dude,
no
we were
way.
3 years away from that being totally normalized.
There's no way we can normalize that.
Bro,
We're going to drag
we're
people
not-
through the streets.
We're not now, but I'm telling you, we were 2 or 3 years away.
Really?
From, the world. I mean, still look at the rest of the world that's still on this globalist agenda. Thank God we got the fuck off the ride.
Yeah.
Thank
We're not
God
on the globalist agenda
look,
right now.
Hey,
Thank God.
Trump is not perfect. Trump is not. He's not the greatest dude ever. And I don't just. But man, he at least has convictions, and he at least wants to do like. And people can say no. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Right.
He does.
He has convictions,
he
and he has a. I do too, and he has a vision of things he wants to do, and he at least stands for some sort of like
Normalcy.
Like bullshit. We're not going to be overrun by these criminals.
Right.
We're not going to normalize rape. We're not going to normalize murders and gang members. We're not going to normalize 20 million illegals running our country into shit, turn into a third world country. We're not going to normalize dirty shores and fucking people shitting. And I'm living in an $8 million house in California, and I walk my driveway. There's human shit by my mailbox.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to. That's not a reality people want to live in.
No, not
and,
at all.
and you have to have the balls to say, fuck that. And I'm not going to call you a minor attracted person.
No.
I'm not going to pretend. They had almost got us all to. It's just now where we can talk about like, hey, where you can openly say, I'm fine with you being trans. I'm just not participating in it.
Right.
Right. And
I don't have any problem with trans people at all. You know how many trans people I've seen in the last month in real life?
two?
None.
Oh, none. But
I mean, on television.
yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
But
It
in
doesn't
real
matter.
life, none.
None. I haven't seen any in a month.
Yeah, you don't see that many. There's not that many. There never was that many.
Yeah.
But because everybody got okay with.
Well, there will be because people can be pushed into wanting to do things. Because you go. I feel like you go. It's like if MTV was still around and
What's still around playing like reality shows?
I have
guess.
no idea.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it.
I don't watch
But
TV
let's say
ever.
MTV was popular like it was in the 90s. You could just put a bunch of trans people on MTV and all these young people watching it. Whenever they had any,
That's kind of.
I feel
that's
weird.
kind of what happened with social media.
I feel
kinda what hap-
weird. Yeah,
That's what happened with the world.
maybe I should be a woman or maybe I should be a man. So then they start like pushing towards those feelings. Like this will make me happy or this, that, and the other. As long as they're like popularized.
We were normalized
because some people are like that. They're trapped in the wrong body. But then some people are kind of like
Yes.
try it out.
Of course.
And then some people are just nuts, and that's
some people are
something they
crazy.
do. And you can't like
some-
it's they're dressing transgender, but they're actually just crazy.
Yeah.
Because we have crazy straight people, crazy gay people, crazy transgender people,
Of
crazy everybody. There's crazy everybody.
And it's more likely that you would be crazy if you're a man and you think you're a woman. I'm so like I don't know how to say it and not be insensitive because I'm not trying to be like insensitive, but like
I'm not either.
There's no other way for me to say it.
It'd be
is
interesting. If there was a
Is
transgender
it body
person that would
dysmorphia? Is it body dysmorphia?
wanted to hang around with me, I would totally hang out with them for a while because it's different.
Yeah.
All my friends are all different. I've got all different kinds of friends.
that's what
I
makes
don't
life-
have a transgender one though.
That's what makes life.
I don't know any.
I've had several work for me. There's not like they're not they're just people too. But I can say like everybody's just a person, right? But they have some certain every one of them, not some of. I had like 3 that have worked for me in my life. All 3 of them, full stop, had some sort of mental imbalance.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, you're not really. I don't even know why it became controversial. You can think you're a woman, and I'll respect you enough to call you Jennifer. If you told me tomorrow that your name is Michelle and you demand to be called Michelle, I would do it. But I wouldn't. I don't have to believe it. That's where I get off the train. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have called 2 ladies in the past 2 months, sir or dude, on accident because one of them I pull up to an oil place on my motorcycle. And I'm like, hey, do you all do inspections for motorcycle? Hey, I was like, hey, dude, there was somebody standing there and somebody's changing oil. And I was like, dude, do y'all change? And they turned around and it was a lady who was
She's
dressed
probably
like
not
a
offended.
dude.
She probably wasn't offended at all. Like
She wasn't offended at all. Not at all. They were like, she was like, she was obviously a woman. She wasn't like trying to dress like a man. She was just dressed up like she's changing oil, and she had a short haircut from behind. And I was like, hey, dude.
Yeah.
And then they turned around, I was like, oh, man.
Sorry
and
about that.
they were like, oh, no, we don't do that. And I was like, okay, cool. Then the other time
She
I was
didn't even acknowledge
in.
it, right?
No, she didn't even acknowledge
good,
it. The other thing is I call everybody dude.
Yeah, me too. Or bro.
I even call Kylie dude. She's like, don't call me dude. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, dude, check this out.
I did.
So then the other one was there was a lady at a Shoney's
They still have
in
Shoney's.
Florida.
There was a Shoney's still open?
Or was it Shoney's or was it a different? Not Shoney's. What's the
Denny's?
other one? Denny's.
Yeah.
I'm at a Denny's in Florida, and I'm like, it's really busy, and I'm like wiggling my way through to get to the bathroom, and out of the corner of my eye, somebody is this much taller than me, and bigger than me, and I was, oh, sorry, sir, and I looked and it was a woman.
Well,
and
I
was
mean,
like,
you're a big
holy
dude.
shit.
I would have definitely thought that was a sir.
And
too.
I was like, I'm sorry. And she's like, don't worry about it. She's just like trying to work. She's like, don't worry about it. But she's this much, this much taller than me.
yeah, she's like 6'2",
She's like
250.
6'2", 250, and out of the corner of my eye, that is a build for a man.
Yeah.
So I feel bad when I do that because it's embarrassing a little bit.
For
Like
you,
it was
yeah.
pretty funny though with the one because it was just like looked like a dude was standing there. I was like, hey dude, and I turned around and it was a girl. And she was attractive.
Yeah.
With short hair. She was an attractive girl. She was young and
The
attractive.
big girl?
But I called her dude.
The big girl?
No. The one, the oil change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that making a
like,
mistake.
oh.
But and like you're being stereotypical in your head because like
Yeah.
usually girls don't work at the oil change, but sometimes they do, and we
Right.
recognize that
short,
they can.
Short hair in a jumpsuit to change oil, and as soon as she turned around, I was like, "That's a lady," and I see the lady body now.
Yeah.
You know, but from like I pulled up on my motorcycle, I was like, "Hey, dude," you know, and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
It was funny. I thought it was funny.
It's pretty. It's pretty funny, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't
It's
be,
ma'am.
It's ma'am. By God. I just would that's my whole thing with like I always the trans that worked for me, they want to be called a man. I called him a man.
Right. Tell me.
I didn't.
I can't participate if I don't know you.
But I didn't believe it, and
Yeah.
I can't lie to people, and I can't lie to myself or to you, and say, oh yeah. And if they asked me, now I'm not going to just volunteer the information to be hurtful for no reason, right? That's because that doesn't make any sense to me. But if they're like, do you think I'm a man?
I don't know.
I would no, I do know. You're not. You're a woman. This is
Well,
your, if you're-
you know him. Though.
I know.
I don't
I'm
know.
talking about somebody that works for me that I know is a woman that they say they're a man and they want to be called a man. I'll
Right.
call you a man and I'll
Right.
call you by your male name. But if you ask me, well, don't you think I'm a woman? No. I mean, don't you think I'm a man? I would say, well, no, I don't think that.
Yeah.
I don't like. I don't think that. I don't believe that. I'm cool with you believing it, and I'll call you by the name you wish to be called by.
Yeah.
But where I get off the bus is where you insisted that I have to believe it, or I'm some sort of phobe of some sort,
right.
Transphobe,
Right.
homophobe, whatever it is. I'm just not participating in whatever it is I'm participating
In respecting you.
in respecting you by saying, "Oh, hey, Mike," and
But-
when I know you. But if I
But if we look at the moon and you go call the moon the sun from now
or
on,
don't you think the moon's made out of cheese? I'm like, no. You're like, well,
No.
I think it's made out of cheese. Be like, oh, that's
Good for
fascinating.
you.
Right? I'm not going to fight you on it, even
Yeah.
though I know it's ridiculous. Like, I know that I'm right. I'm so convicted that I'm right that I don't even have to have this argument.
Right.
Same thing with that. I know you're a chick. I know you're a woman. Everyone knows you're a woman. You wish to be called a dude. You're growing a little beard, so I'll call you by your dude name.
Yeah.
But if you were,
No problem.
But if you ask me, don't you also believe I'm a man? No.
but don't ask me that.
Don't ask me that. But they
It's just-
they did before though.
Oh.
They did. We had to, I had those conversations before, and I had to be, and I just don't have it in me. Why should I have to lie?
No.
Why should I feel weird about like?
I know that's the thing.
I'm like, no, it's
That's
not.
the trying
I'm
to
like,
make you,
I'm like,
turn
not,
you into a bigot.
I'm like, I don't believe it because it's not true. And you thinking it's true doesn't make it true.
Right.
But I don't wish to have this conversation, right? I was like, there's no way I get through this conversation without it being offensive, and I'm not trying to be offensive. I'll call you by your male name and rock and roll forever, right? Like, I'll never believe it. And that's what that is what society insisted upon.
What if they got a wiener attached?
Well, if they just pull your clit out, right, and make it
I don't-
bigger.
I don't
They,
know.
They sew you up. I think they.
Oh, I
they
thought
turn,
maybe.
turn your clit into a bigger bean.
Oh.
That's kind of how that works. I'm like, people are gonna. I'm sure somebody's jumping the comments like, you have no idea about transgender surgery. I'm like, okay,
We don't.
I really don't.
We don't.
I'm going off like.
I
this-
thought maybe they're like.
This is off of this is information I
Pump
have off
something up.
the people, the trans that I have had that have worked for me in the past, that just kind of what they told, but they didn't because they could never afford the surgery. That's why we were supposed to. That's why everybody wanted taxpayers. That's why they were joining the military. You know, that's why everybody was joining the military, right? The military was the largest employer of transgender. And do you know why that? You know why that was?
What now? Sorry.
No.
There's work going on.
The military was the largest employer of transgenders.
Because they wanted to get the
because they
military
could
to
get
pay
the,
for
to
it.
get the military to pay for your free transgender surgery. It was an obvious. Like, there's no way there'd be 15,000.
Well, they found a loophole.
15,000
Good for them.
transgenders in the military. Good for them to use our taxpayer dollars to pay for transgender surgery.
That sucks. Well, that's where I come to. That sucks, but I mean, they figured out a loophole.
Yeah, but we shouldn't
That's
have
what
those loopholes.
We
That's
shouldn't.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah, good.
I'm just saying though, like, good for them to
they
figure
figure
that
the
out.
loophole, but it would have to be opposed to like taxpayers.
I'm totally
funding
opposed to that.
Yeah.
I would
No
like
tax.
to.
Taxation's
I would like-
taxation's theft.
I would like to have no taxes, but I would also like to say where I want my taxes to go. Or they should even do polls. Where
like
you're
you're like-
where would you want to put your taxes?
Like
And
you're
I
an
could say-
alumni donor to a school and be like,
yeah,
put
like
$10,000 to the football program, this $1,000
yeah.
to volleyball.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it then, and then we would see what we really want to pay for if people were honest about where they wanted their money to go. And then they took everybody's money that they paid in taxes, and it was like, oh well,
Oh, that's brilliant, Mike. This is brilliant. This is
yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah. So because some people don't pay any taxes. Well, they don't have a fucking say.
They
Then.
don't get a say.
Then all the taxes I pay, then I would be like, well, I want 50% of it to go to the military and 50% of it to go to roads or 50 or whatever. But have a list. Have a list. Don't make it hard for people.
No,
10 things.
border security, climate.
10 things.
You could have, border security here, climate here.
And if everybody
climate
goes,
initiatives.
oh, just 10% to every 10, like just 10%.
That's fine.
Then
That's
it's
fine.
like, oh, well, then you're just going the old school route of we're just giving you your money and then you just put it where you want to put it. That's fine, but it is fine. So
yeah, because we'll figure out which programs are really going to get the funding.
you would figure out what was important to a taxpayer when they are actually paying money to the government.
Man, I kinda-
who do it. Oh, I want 100% of my taxes to go to our state's representative's pockets.
Yeah,
his paycheck.
Who's checking that box? No one.
No one.
But you should have it as a box so you know
This
that, hey,
should be a box.
this used to be an option.
Yeah.
So I want you to, like, hey, if you'd like to put
The Speaker of the House gets all my money.
90% of your money to fraud, how do you feel about that? I don't like that.
I don't like that.
What about if we were to do? What about if we could just 5% of your money to teach an opera in Bangladesh? No, don't do that.
No, I don't want any of my money to go to
Then-
that. I want my money to go to roads and military.
And
that's what I would
we
say.
have too much in the-
infrastructure.
we have-
or just infrastructure.
Infrastructure. There's too much even in the military.
Well, I like. Yeah, have you seen that thing where
We're 900 billion's our military budget annually.
and-
we're fucking lethal.
and we're
lethal enough.
And on the chart, the next country is who? And they're like this is 900 billion.
Like maybe Russia at 100 or
Russia,
200 billion.
and they're
or
like
shit.
here.
200
We're
billion.
here. They're here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're way on.
I'm saying you
top
could.
of it.
I think at this, you could even. I would.
I
Man,
kind of like that though.
I do too, but I can still
I
scale it to
can-
600 billion, and you
Yeah.
like. What if you just spent 600 billion, did it smartly, didn't buy $40,000 hammers, right? But we're smart stewards of the
It's-
money.
The military-industrial complex is going to get what they're going to get.
Yeah, but you don't need to. Nobody
We
should be
don't
putting
need
in
that
bids
much.
for $80,000 toilets. That should be
No,
not allowed, and there should be
No.
smart,
That's
capable
ridiculous.
people. But it's all ridiculous.
We need some AI stuff catching all that.
And they will spend. Look, they will spend. I know one time in the military, and I mean, look, I get like I bet one time I went to a training exercise, and I bet we spent $200,000 shooting bazooka rounds into jeeps.
Really?
Yeah, they
that's
just-
fun though. You
I
got to
know, they
learn
just-
how to use
They just
bazookas.
had jeeps set up. Yeah, they had jeeps set up on the range. I forget, and they took like 100 of us down there. This is like in my advanced training, and then we got like bazookas. We got to shoot a 50 cal, a bazooka, and then one other weapon, grenade launcher. So we were trying to put. So you're trying to put grenade launchers and launch a grenade into windows and
That's
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah, it's just fun. Like, but they took 100 of us on one day. Let us all shoot, I think, 3 rounds of each. And then you got the bazooka.
Well, it may save your life.
I know.
I like this spending. I think this spending's okay.
I'm just saying.
Put 10% of my
Yeah.
money into the bazooka training.
I'm a military guy. I'm saying here's the deal. None of us were ever going to actually be handed a grenade launcher, right?
Right.
But it's like, hey, we have this grenade launcher. It really went like this, like, hey, we got some shit down here at the range. You guys we're going to take you guys down there and let y'all play with it.
Blow
and,
up some shit.
And we got some Jeeps set up down there. You can try to put it in the window. It's fun as shit.
Yeah.
But we probably spent $100,000 that day.
Oh my
On
gosh.
just on 100 soldiers we were all carpenters, by the way. It was
and
a
never
carpenter-
gonna shoot a bazooka.
we're
into a
we're,
Jeep.
we're carpenters and masons is what our
Yeah.
schooling was there for, but just because they have the money, there's the only reason you would. Hey, we're just gonna go waste 200 grenades shooting it, trying to hit, and then we're just competing with each other. Who can hit? Oh, I'm gonna hit the rearview mirror with it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's fun as shit,
That's
right? Like
fun.
great memory,
Yeah.
but if you think about it from like a government, like being prudent with your money, it's not
Yeah.
something you would do with like a household budget.
No.
You would never give the kids like, "Hey kids, in the closet there's $10,000 if you guys want to go get it out and go get some fireworks." Like,
Well, no, you'd be like, if the equivalent is like, I'm gonna buy all brand new cleaning supplies and mops, and you kids are gonna teach yourself how to clean the house.
yeah, just
go
just
after
go
it.
grab it. Yeah.
Like I'm not buying all that extra stuff. We just teach them.
And then I think like, they just so much money that they'll just roll an old Jeep down the range and let young soldiers
Yeah.
that just fucking shoot at
Shoot
it.
at
and
it.
Do whatever. They'll probably, and next week it's got to be another one because that one's going to be
Tore up,
destroyed.
destroyed.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's a microcosm of like, and then you
The
think of it on
entire
a
industry.
bigger scale of like the military and like there's projects that we don't even know about that probably are important. Like they're probably building $100 billion secret alien fighter somewhere.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You got to have that. So you got to have people to fly them. I mean, really you need manpower. I'm for the manpower spend.
Are you for like black label, black
Society? Yeah,
budgets?
maybe. Oh,
like
no.
like black the budget, like you said, maybe they charge $80,000 for a toilet and
75,000 of it gets moved to
moves to a
the
black
secret
black
alien.
budget account, secret alien thing they're doing to keep us safe.
We have
from
too many
aliens or
secrets.
whatever.
We have too many secrets. I want more transparency, less secrets across.
I want more transparency too, and not fake transparency
across all
This
branches.
fake transparency pisses me off.
Well, yeah, that's kind of where I'm getting with the current administration when they're saying all this fraud, all this abuse, and I was all in on that shit. I still am, right? But now I'm starting to be like, okay, if there was all this rampant fraud, and I'm still optimistic that it'll happen, and I do know that the fraud did happen.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me there's all this fraud, why aren't people being arrested?
Why aren't they going to jail? Because they're the ruling class, and they're just gonna save the money, and they'll be like, okay, we did it, we saved the money, and then nobody's gonna get arrested.
Nobody's gonna get arrested. That's my
Nobody's
fear.
gonna get arrested because they're above the law.
I'm gonna-
if you save the money, you're fine.
I'm gonna rail like hell on here in about 1 year if there's not been any arrests, and you tried to tell me that there's all this rampant fraud, all these people have stolen all this shit from you. If you're gonna tell me all that and not one person gets locked up, I'm going to. Stacey Abrams got $2 billion. Well, if she did, let's put her fucking ass in
Put
jail.
her in jail.
Like, so we'll see. But yeah, in 1 year, if something doesn't happen, I'm back railing against Trump. For now, he's got my support for now.
All
but
right.
I'm not scared to switch up.
All right.
All right.
Let's handle it. Let's end it. Peace.
See you later. Bye.